Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to a recap of the Challenge Double Agents episode 17. So, incredible episode. I'm really excited about talking what went down this evening. But before I do, let's talk about what we had coming into this particular episode tonight. First of all, everyone in the house at this point has gold skulls. There's no more fighting to get your gold skull to get into the final. Now it's all about surviving until TJ announces that the final is here. So we started off this week with 9 agents left because we lost someone last week. Yes, indeed, in the last episode, women's elimination, Amber versus Big T in Hall Brawl, which favored Amber being a rugby player. And sure enough, she took advantage of that skill set. She took out Big T. Big T got sent home, leaving us now with the final 9 agents in this game. Now, once Amber won that competition, she then could pick her new partner if she wanted, or stick with her existing partner. She didn't do that. She took Fessy. Smart. She took someone who's a strong athlete in Fessy, and it got her back into the Big Brother Alliance by picking him as a teammate. So Amber picks Fessy as her new partner, which leaves Nani, who is Fessy's old partner, leaves Nani to take either Kyle or CT. CT begged that, take Kyle. Well, she did it. Nani takes Kyle. They're back together again. They started off as partners. Then one left the other. Then the other left the other. But once more, they're back together. And CT. Now, I don't know if it's because he didn't want Nani as a partner or simply because he realized that if Nani and Kyle ended up back together, it would leave CT as the rogue agent for this week. He got his wish. Either way, CT got his wish. He is the rogue agent, which means this week, almost certainly a men's elimination, and CT's not eligible for it. He doesn't have a partner. He won't be competing in any of the challenges this week. Puts him in a perfect position. It means he's going to be one of the final 8 people at the end of this thing. So CT is falling into his lap just the way he wants it, it seems like. Now, with that being said, it's very interesting. We've got 9 people in the house. This week, this episode, we only have 4 couples. Well, 2 of those couples, assuming it's going to be a regular challenge type format, 2 of those couples are going to be down in the elimination arena. So 50%. There's nowhere to hide at this point in time. You better be prepared every single week to potentially get down there and fight a battle and fight for your own survival, because we're down to just a handful of people at this point in time. So that's what happened last week. Again, now we've got 4 couples that are going to be going at it this week, with CT off on the sidelines watching and happy that he's not there. So as we get to this week's episode, one of the first things we see is everyone comes back into the house. Kyle is talking to the cameras, and he is aware that he is in a very bad position at this point. Kyle has talked before that he really doesn't feel like he has anyone in that house that's got his back, that's supporting him. And he echoes that again this evening. He mentions that he almost certainly is going up this week. And it's a men's elimination. We're pretty positive it's going to be men's elimination. And he knows that he is going up this week unless he wins and becomes a power couple for the week. If he can do that with Nani, then they control and they keep him safe. But other than that, he's pretty certain that he's going up. So he's got to fight in this competition itself. We also see a really kind of a tender moment. Cam and Leroy are talking. They're in the hot tub, swimming pool. You're in Iceland. I hope it's a hot tub. I ain't going swimming in any swimming pool while I'm in Iceland, I don't think. But Cam and Leroy are in the hot tub. They're talking just how excited they are that everything has seemed to work so well for them. They're both still in the game, both fighting for that final prize. So it's worked well from a strategy, from a gameplay standpoint, but also they're romantic partners. So just the fact that they've been able to support each other and they're still both together, it just has both of them excited. I got to say, they've played a great game so far. They've watched out for each other. They've developed relationships. Cam, she came after CT at one point. I mean, there's a lot of things where I felt like she could have gone off the rails, but she pulled it back in. They've played a fantastic game. So congrats to both of them. And just as a little FYI, Leroy does live here in Houston. So Houston proud and happy to see you repping the city, Leroy. Good job so far. So with that being said, this week's challenge. This is interesting. We're getting to the end. We assume it's going to be a regular week, but TJ and the challenge, you never know for certain. And sure enough, everyone is surprised. Really, it's in the middle of the night, early in the morning. I can't even remember what it is at this point in time. But they're woken up, and TJ says, all right, here's the deal. I need one person from each team to volunteer to come with me. That's all he says, and that's it. Well, these 4 guys that are left, none of them feel comfortable leaving their fate of their game in the hands of their partners. And so they all quickly volunteer, saying, I'll go do it. And so especially someone like Fessy, who feels like he's so athletic, he's ready to get in and fight and do everything he can to survive. Obviously, Kyle wants to win as well to protect his game. So all 4 men volunteer to go with TJ without a clue what's happening. Get into one of the big Hummer convertibles or whatever, and they take off. And that's all we see until the sirens flash again, the lights go off, and the women left in the bunker house, Icelandic house, hear that now the challenge is activated. Now comes their part of the battle. And we quickly realize that the guys aren't the ones competing in this battle, a little bit, but they aren't the main competitors in this competition. It's going to be the women. And the guys are going to be, depending upon their female teammates to keep them alive. I kind of like seeing that. Good job, TJ. That's that nice little surprise there. So the challenge itself, turns out that the 4 men have been hidden underground, what they say, 500 feet in a volcanic crater. Hope it's a dormant volcano is all I got to say. But they've been hidden in a crater. It's up to the ladies to find them and bring them back to the starting point. And that doesn't sound that bad, right? Yeah, just find your partner, bring them back to the starting point. Yeah, not a challenge. It's not that easy. Turns out the women all start at the same spot there, the starting line. They have to run 5 miles to this crater. Along the way, they have 2 different mental checkpoints, and we don't know what that is to start with, but 2 different mental checkpoints. Once they solve those mental competitions, again, run the full 5 miles, get to the crater, drop 500 feet in a little pulley system, a little elevator type thing. Unlock your partner who's chained up to a block, hoping that a volcano doesn't blow up. Get back up to the surface, and then you and your partner have to run back another 5 miles, solve a puzzle at the end of the competition, and whoever does it fastest, quickest, wins for the week. Piece of cake, right? It only involves, for the women, only involves running 10 miles and solving a few mental puzzles. Man, I gotta say, mental puzzles, I feel like I'd hold my own. Running 10 miles, you may see old Boss Hog a little bit winded at the end of that thing, but kind of a mini final in a lot of ways. They always seem to involve a lot of running, a lot of endurance. And remember, this is why Fessy didn't want Anissa and why CT was a little peeved at Big T. They realize that as we get to the end of the challenge, you've got a lot of these endurance competitions, and this is a toughie here. So there you go. So that's the challenge that they're facing. TJ blows a horn. Everyone takes off running. Checkpoint number 1, the women are all not too far apart from each other, if I recall. Checkpoint number 1, though, is a math problem. Take a 3-digit number, multiply by a single-digit number. It gives you a 4-digit number, which you then enter into a briefcase, which basically frees you to run to the next checkpoint and keep on running with the race. Well, Cam solves her puzzle rather quickly. Now, remember, there was a challenge where everyone was locked up overnight, and Leroy and Casey yelled out the math problem they had, and Cam immediately solved it. So Cam, obviously, she is the mental mathematical guru of the contestants that are left, because Cam solves it rather quickly, and she's off. And just a little bit later, Nani solves as well. She's off. Casey and Amber, not so much. Amazing athletes, absolutely. But let's just say that mathematics may not be their strongest skill right now, because it takes certainly Casey a long time to solve her puzzle. Amber, we'll talk more about Amber and her own mathematical issues in a little bit later. But so that's what we've got. So everyone's taking off. Well, almost everyone's taking off for the mental competition, mental checkpoint number 2. It's another math puzzle. It's another multiplication type deal. Cam once again solves that one and immediately takes off running as well. And as a result, Cam gets to the crater first. She hops in the elevator. She's coming down, and it's so Corey's pretty excited that his partner's coming down first. And so everyone else is saying, "Oh, where's Nani? Where's Amber? Where's KC?" And I can't remember which one tells Fessy, says, "Fessy, I'm not sure that Amber's actually ever going to make it in this volcano." And he said, "What do you mean? She's just going slow?" Yeah, I don't think she may not make it at all, Fessy. But Cam does get out Corey first. And at that point, they take off running back. And it's hard to see from the edit, but it appears that Cam and Corey probably had a decent lead for that return 5 miles as well. They get back to the checkpoint. They have the final puzzle to solve. It's not a math problem at this point in time. It's a tanagram. I think that's why you call it, with a bunch of geometric shapes that you have to fit into a square puzzle, square shape. And they work on it a little while, and they solve it. Cam's a good man. She's strong in these mental competitions. So they solve it. So Cam and Corey take this week's competition, which spells difficulties for Kyle and for Fessy as well. Obviously, Cam doesn't want to put up Leroy and KC. So, you're kind of seeing the writing at the wall at this point. You think. Perhaps so. But anyway, so they solve it. And just a little bit later, Nani and Kyle and then KC and Leroy eventually make it back. And so the 6 of them are standing there at the finish line. And here comes the walk of shame. Amber and Fessy come back. They never showed Amber making it to the crater. They never even showed Amber making it to the second mental checkpoint. She could not solve this problem, this math puzzle at all. And she came back later and said she's always had issues with math. And her big issue was she didn't have anything to write it down. She couldn't do it in her head. And take some hints from an old count. Yeah, math is fun, but not so much for Amber. This particular challenge, it was a bad competition for Amber, and Fessy's not happy. Fessy isn't very often happy with his partners at all, if ever. Fessy's not happy the way it went. He sees the writing on the wall as well. So again, Cam and Corey have won the competition. They're in power at this point in time. And we'll see how that works out. It may not be as clean as you think right now. It's certainly not as clean as I thought it was going to go at this point in time. Corey and Cam immediately start talking that they're planning to put in Kyle in this competition. Again, it's men's elimination as far as we know. So they immediately said, Kyle's got to go in. Whoever the house puts in, fine, but let's make sure Kyle goes in. And Leroy is begging KC for his vote. He's saying, KC, you can't turn on your partner to protect the Big Brother Alliance and all that. You gotta protect me and send Fessy in. And Casey is really torn. You can tell she likes Fessy. He's part of her alliance and everything. And she also doesn't want to turn on her partner. So she's not really sure what to do. But Casey's a good player. She knows how to play the relationship game as well. She goes to Fessy and says, look, I got an idea. Why don't you volunteer to go in? You know they're going to put up Kyle because they aren't going to put up anyone. Volunteer to go in versus Kyle. If you beat them, then you get to pick your new partner. And I know that you don't want Amber as your partner, so you have control, my man. You're going to have to win this thing anyway at some point. Just go ahead and do it. And at first, Fessy's saying, yeah, sounds great, but do I really want to take that chance? And he's a little hesitant, but he thinks about it. Brilliant move on Casey's standpoint to try to keep the blood off of her hands. If she can convince him to volunteer, she didn't have to feel guilty about anything at the point in time. So props to Casey for a brilliant strategy at that point. Cam does the same thing. Cam's challenging Kyle and Fessy. Both say, man, guys, y'all go on and on about how disappointed you are in your partners, that it's all y'all would do great. It's just these women that are dragging you down. Well, here's your chance, big boys. Volunteer to go in. You don't have to worry about the women dragging you down at all. It's all up to you, win or lose. It's all on you. So be the men that you keep claiming you are and volunteer to do it. Yeah, it's smart on Cam's part. Yeah, of course. Let's not forget that if Fessy volunteers and Kyle goes in, it protects Leroy, Cam's romantic partner. So she has some ulterior motives as well. But a lot of people are putting pressure on Fessy to go ahead and sign up to go into the elimination ring this week. And Corey's going to do the same thing. He's also telling Fessy he ought to go in. So a lot of pressure on Fessy. But Leroy's still worried. Leroy is still nervous that if Casey turns on him, supports Fessy, that he could end up going in the ring instead and going against Kyle, and he does not want that. So Leroy comes up with a plan of his own. And I love this plan. I love it. Leroy says, look, what if I and CT and Kyle and Nani all vote to send in Fessy? That'll be enough to get Fessy in the elimination ring. And he says, look, Kyle, if you agree to send Fessy in, if you vote to send him in exchange for protecting me, Cam will then promise not to send you in. Instead, she'll volunteer to go into the ring, her and Corey. And you have to think about it a little bit, but basically the idea is Leroy telling Kyle, if you vote Fessy in exchange, that means I don't go into I'm protected. And in exchange, then Cam will make sure that you don't go in either by volunteering to go into the ring. Corey won't want to do that. Obviously, he doesn't want to have to take a chance on getting sent home. But if the double agents don't agree, then they have to go into the ring instead. So if Cam decides that they're going in, Corey can't do anything about it. So there you have it. So the idea is that instead of Fessy and Kyle, or potentially Leroy and Kyle, it's a way to guarantee that you're going to have Fessy and Corey going against each other and protecting Kyle and Leroy. Brilliant plan. Takes a little deviousness, takes a lot of backstabbing, but that's the plan that's been thrown out there. Kyle agrees to it. He thinks about it. He shakes hands with Cam and Leroy and says, yeah, I have to trust y'all, but sure. And it does take a lot of trust on Kyle's part because he has to vote in Fessy and then depend upon them to follow up on what they've promised to protect him. We will see if that works or not. He's not sure, but he figures, I think Kyle figures he's going in. If he doesn't agree to this, then he's going in no matter what. So take your chance, throw your Hail Mary, see what happens, and hope. And he mentions that Cam hasn't gone against him, hadn't betrayed him the whole season. So he's hoping he can get one more promise followed through with her this week. We'll see if that happens or not. So no surprise. We actually had during the House deliberations, it turns out Fessy volunteers to go in the ring. All these arguments have convinced him. He volunteers to go into the ring, which brings up an interesting point. You didn't really need Kyle's vote at that point in time. Is Cam going to follow through on her promise that she made to him now that it turns out that it wasn't really as close a vote and Kyle's vote wasn't needed like they thought? Don't know. Not yet. So we don't know what's going to happen at this point. But when it comes to the House vote, it's no big surprise. Fessy is nominated. It's a unanimous vote because even Fessy votes for himself to go into the ring. And Corey, at this point, Corey's smart too. I don't know if he realized that maybe something was afoot or it's just because he's a nice guy. But Corey's talking to Cam saying, look, I'm so happy to have you as a partner. It's worked out great. You're such a wonderful person. And I also have been so happy to protect Leroy. He's a wonderful guy. I'm so happy for both of y'all. I'm glad y'all are both here. And I'm glad I was able to work with you and help protect Leroy as well. So, he's saying things like that. And it's going to make it really tough for Cam to turn right around then and backstab him and throw him into that elimination arena after hearing all these nice positive words from Corey. So again, I don't know if it was gameplay that Corey is saying that or it's just because he's a nice guy, but it certainly is giving Cam that much more to think about. So we see everyone walking into the elimination arena. It looks just like last week because it's another hall brawl, or at least it looks like it's a hall brawl, still set up in the middle of that arena. So Fessy's already volunteered. He's already been voted in, and it's going to be a hall brawl. Fessy's got to be happy when he sees that, right? That's his competition. Oh my gosh, perfect storm type situation for Fessy, I suppose. So now we know that Fessy's going in. We learned it's a men's elimination, but no one really suspected it otherwise. It's all about who's going in against Fessy. So Cam, when it comes time to make her decision, is she throwing Corey under the bus or is she putting in Kyle? She puts in Kyle. Yeah, she backstabbed Kyle from a personal relationship level and everything else. Oh, it's tough to see, but hey, it's a game. It's part of the game. Strategically, it makes sense. Here's the thing. Cam doesn't want to burn her partner. And if he wins, then she's got a huge enemy in Corey. And even if he loses and goes home, the challenge isn't like Big Brother. They come back season after season. They come back. Does Cam really want to have Corey as an enemy from this point on in future seasons? And if you get Corey as an enemy, there's several of his buddies that are going to be, Nelson that's going to be an enemy potentially as well. So I understand why she backstopped Kyle, and I don't think Kyle was completely surprised either. Again, it was a bit of a Hail Mary, and she betrayed Kyle, but it is what it is. So now we've got the contestants. It's Kyle versus Fessy. Elimination. One of these guys isn't gonna walk out this evening still in the game. And sure enough, it is Hall Brawl. Now this time they've got to play the best 3 out of 5 competitions. That's tough. That means not only do you have to deliver a lick on your competitor, win a few of those rounds, but you got to have a lot more endurance built in as well to play potentially 5 rounds of this game. So these guys line up, they blow the horn, they hit hard. They're like 2 battling rams going after each other. Now, Fessy talked about that he was going to rely on his speed in addition to his hitting power. And sure enough, when they come together, Fessy, they don't hit at the halfway point. Fessy's already a little closer to Kyle's side because he's running that much faster. And Kyle, when he sees Fessy coming, he kind of curls up a little bit, turns to the side. He doesn't necessarily want to take the hit quite as much. Fessy lays him out. No, it doesn't lay him out. They hit each other hard. Kyle fights, and it's not that he's not trying. It's just it's tough to beat Fessy in a competition like that. So he's pushing. Fessy eventually jumps over Kyle, manages to get out of his grasp and hits the button and wins round 1. Round 1 out of 5, right? Well, not so much. At that point, Kyle holds up his fingers. I think maybe it's his ring finger. It's bent. I can't do it on here because I like my fingers just the way they are. Kyle's finger, on the other hand, is kind of bent. I don't know, a little like a snake, little S-shaped bend. Looks like a pretzel to some degree. He's got some bends that you aren't supposed to have in a finger. So yeah, Kyle has broken his finger. The Megs come in, they work on it, they try to straighten it out, and I kept thinking, man, maybe they're going to wrap it up right now. Eventually, they put a splint on it, and even putting the splint on it, Kyle's just in pain. It's not good at all. He wants to keep playing. He keeps saying, do not pull me out of here. I'm going to keep playing. I'll do what it takes. So he's not going down without a fight. But eventually TJ says, Kyle, you ain't going back in here. You are not medically cleared to play another round. Your finger's too messed up. You're done. And he is done. So Fessy has won yet another Hall Brawl. He's still in the game. Kyle is going home. Props to Kyle. He played a pretty good game this season, considering he really didn't have the alliances that other teams had. He was a little bit more of a lone wolf this year. The Big Brother Alliance didn't do any favors for Kyle. He burned a few people early, maybe telling some lies that he maybe didn't need to tell, that came back and created some divisions with some other teams, and it eventually caught up to him this week. So Kyle is going home. Kyle, I kind of run hot and cold. There's times I really like Kyle. There's times I kind of cheering against him. But this season, I have sympathy and absolute mad respect for Kyle and for as hard as he fought. And I feel like he's a little bit of an underdog through the whole season, and he didn't let that stop him. He played the game that Kyle has played every single season. You betray when you have to, you lie when you have to. You play the game as hard as you can. So Kyle's gone. I have zero doubt that we won't see him in future seasons. He'll be back. So Kyle is done. Fessy is still alive at this point in time. So now we got a little final business to attend to. Fessy has won. He could keep Amber as his partner going forward. Do you think he's going to do that? Well, heck no, he's not doing that. Fessy talks for a second, and he's polite about it to Amber, but at the end, he chooses as his new partner, Casey. Now, that's a hell of a combo right there. Fessy and Casey, probably 2 of the most athletic people still left in this house. So we'll see how they do going forward. Hope to God there aren't any more mental math competitions, because if so, we may not see them beyond this episode, the next episode. But as long as they stay away from the math puzzles, it's going to be a strong duo to compete against. At that point now, Casey's with Fessy, which means that Leroy doesn't have a partner. So he can pick either Amber or Nany. He picks Nany, which means that we now have CT and Amber as new partners. I'm going to be curious to see how the two of them operate. Don't know. CT wasn't real happy with Big T. Amber's a stronger athlete than she let on this week. Again, that the math just screwed her up, but I think she can hold her own on a lot of competition. So we'll see how that works out. So 8 teams left, 8 people left, 4 teams left. You got to be getting close to the final, right? You got to have some people left to run this final, but they're all waiting for TJ, and he finally tells them, says, guys, all of y'all here deserve it. Are you ready to go into the final? Because here we are, guys. So there you have it. 8 people left. We're to the finals. Now, I don't know what that means. I still don't know if this is going to be running finals as partners, if they're going to have a men's side, a women's side, if they're just 8 solitary individuals going for a single big prize. We don't have any of the details yet, but it's going to be exciting no matter what. So the people in yellow up above, they're the ones who are left, except for Kyle, who's somewhere on here. There he is. But other than that, 8 people left in the game. It's going to be exciting. Guys, y'all have a fantastic week. I'll be back next week to figure out just what happened on the finals and what TJ has in store for those guys. Until then, have a great one, guys. Cheers, my friends. Bye.